Right. Thank you again for tuning into my YouTube channel. My name is Davon Reese, president and founder of the Vaughn Group. And this is my YouTube channel. And so probably the biggest question I get is my story. So I figured, why not tell you my story, right? So I actually got my start off in the industry as a front desk agent. Get this question all the time, Devon, how did you become a hotel owner? So I've been in the industry probably over 15 years. So only thing I knew was hotels, right? And so in my family, hotel ownership wasn't a part of the conversation, right? Didn't even know you own a hotel. Just like many of you all had family reunions at hotels. We always had an embassy suites, and so just did not think that you could own it. And so I didn't see anyone who looked like me on it. Even while working as a front desk agent at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta, I still didn't think it was possible for you to own a hotel. And so I actually got my start in the industry. I was volunteering for the local Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we were interviewing the visitors who were traveling to and from Atlanta, and we just wanted to get an idea of how their stay was at the in Atlanta. And the rooms exec at the time was like, "Hey, you want a job? You smile a lot." And I was like, "Absolutely, making $10 an hour, you bet." I thought I was gonna be rich, right? From 0 to 10. And so I took the job, and that was it. That was history. And from that moment, I just fell in love with the industry. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with my colleagues. Like one of my best friends, we've been friends since working at the Hyatt, since I got my start in 2007. We've been friends ever since, literally. She's the godmother of my child. And I've met so many different people from so many different backgrounds. I was able to travel the world. I think it was a quote. They were saying, we work in the hospitality industry, it's like you're living like a millionaire, but even if you're not one, because you get to take advantage of so many different travel benefits. And that is one of the benefits of working in the hospitality industry, take advantage of the discounts, right? But the really thing is just really meeting the people. You get to meet the people from across the world. You get to work with people from across the world and so many different backgrounds and cultures. So that was great. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, right? Now the hospitality does have its downfalls. It's customer service, so you're dealing with people and it's a level of expectation, but I just loved it. Here to serve, right? Put on this planet to serve. So I was at the Hyatt for about 6.5 years, mostly in the front office. I did take advantage of task force, and what task force is, you go to different hotels and you help them out, whatever they need assistance with. So I did that a couple times. And I love the hotel industry, but working in operations, it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel it. It wasn't challenging. Nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't for me. But I really wanted to stay in the hospitality industry, so I started doing research, and I saw, the transactional side, right? Asset management and development. And I joined this organization called Under 30 Gateway, the American Hotel Lodging Association Under 30 Gateway. And from that organization, there was so many different people, so many different backgrounds. We were all under the age of 30, but these folks are owning hotels. I'm like, wait, you own hotels? Like, we be the same age. How you own a hotel? How you get to develop a hotel? And so being around those people inspired me and challenged me, like, okay, they can do it, I can do it too. But I did not have, the background. I didn't have the financial background, right? Meaning didn't come from, I didn't inherit a hotel like some of my peers. I was mostly in operations. Actually, all of my experiences in operations. So I didn't really have an opportunity to learn about the financial side. So for the folks who want to get into hotel ownership, you really want to understand the transactional side, right? But we'll get into that into another segment, okay? So it was there, under 30 Gateway probably for, I don't know, 3 years or something like that, 3, 4 years. And but being a part of professional organizations, which I'll talk about in another episode, the different organizations you're trying to really help my career. So I wanted to know more about the industry. So I took the different side of the industry. So I took a non-paid internship at Horwath HGL. And this was after college, right? So of course my dad was like, Davon, what are you doing? You graduated from college, like, what are you doing? Why are you working on a paid internship? And I took this job as a non-paid intern. But from that was my introduction to hotel ownership. That was my introduction to how to buy a hotel, how to develop, how to see land and how to create, a community. And I was there for about 3 months. So I was working in the morning and working at the Hyatt at night. So in the morning, non-paid from 9 to 12, at Hyatt from 1 to whenever. And I did that for about 3 months. It was very difficult, very challenging. And I decided I don't want to do this anymore. And I was at the Hyatt full time. I was at the Hyatt full time, left and went to Horwath HGL full time. And I was there for about 2 years. Great company, learned so much. First time meeting a billionaire in person, because the clients were hotel owners, right? So they owned hotels. And so that's what we did. So at Horwath HCL, we did feasibility studies. So what's a feasibility study, right? A feasibility study, which we'll get into another episode, but really what it is just seeing if a project is feasible. And so a lot of the clients at the time, they owned a lot of land and they decided they wanted to own a hotel. And so they would come to us for advisory services. I was there for about 2 years. And then moved to Boston and worked for C.H. Warnick, which is one of the largest third-party asset management firms in the country, probably even the world, and learned about asset management. Again, the clients are hotel owners. What is the best way to learn about hotel ownership is through that process. And I always had the entrepreneurship bug in me, but I didn't want to take advantage of it. I wasn't raised that way. Wasn't raised to be an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was, right? Because my dad he retired as a fireman. My grandma retired as a nurse. My mom got her master's. She was in HR. So that's just what I was around, right? I was taught you work, you work for a pension, then you retire. That was it. That was a life. And I was just like, that's not hitting me. So again, in Boston, 2 years, learned so much. Great company, great people. Even though it was cold, but I got a chance to experience first lobster rolls, right? There for 2 years, and then I left, came back to Atlanta, missed the family. It was too cold, it really was. And I started the Vaughn Group in 2017, and I actually started that. I started that process. Actually, my first client was the one that got me to start the company. We were sitting down. He had some land. Actually, him and his sister, they owned some land and some buildings. And he was just talking. He's like, "Yeah, I want to develop a hotel." And I'm just asking all these things that he needs to do. He's like, "Wow, send me a proposal. We're gonna bring it as a consultant." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Okay. So I didn't have anything together. And then so I met with my good friend. She's a branding expert, and she helped me develop the Vaughn Group, the brand. And so that was started the Vaughn Group in 2017. Created was helping people who were already in that process of hotel ownership. So they owned land or they owned a building and they just needed help, meaning they needed introductions, they needed to overlook contracts, so they needed that type of assistance. And then 2018, unfortunately, my dad passed. So I'm telling you the dirty side of entrepreneurship. It happens, right? Which is a separate episode. We'll get into that. And dad passed in 2018, got pregnant not too long after he passed. So life was definitely happening as an entrepreneur. And then my little one was born, Jameer, in 2019. Then my grandmother died in 2020. And all of these things was going on. Then we acquired the Home2 Suites in El Reno, Oklahoma in 2020, because I made a promise to myself that, I always told my grandma I was going to get a hotel for her to check in. And I never got a chance to do that because I wasn't focused, which is going to be another episode. We'll talk about that. And I said, I'm going to buy this hotel before February 6, 2021. And that's what happened. We closed November 1st, 2020. 85-room Home2 Suites in El Reno, Oklahoma. Created some hotel owners and investors out of that deal. Raised capital. Right. So all those different things, which I'll be sharing you all with my journey. That's the purpose of this YouTube channel, because I get so many people reaching out to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, they want to hear your journey, want to hear how you do it." And I'm like, this is just, how about I just, even because I'm not really doing courses anymore. So I was like, okay, let me share this information in the YouTube channel, some type of platform, right? And in 2021, acquired 2 more hotels, 145. This is my with business partner with Mike Ely, right? Nassau Investments. Shout out to him and Nate. We met them through Nick's Eye in 2020. Yes, no, 2019 is when we met them. And Um, yeah, 2019 is when we met him. And so we, stayed along for the journey. We did the Home2 Suites with them. And then I did the Staybridge and Suites and Hampton Inn Suites with them in 2021. Again, more investors, more, complicated deals. It was one deal that I was supposed to get in 2021. It didn't happen. So we'll talk about that. Sometimes you get deals and it just don't go through. The deal of it just go down in the deal fund. It didn't happen. And then 2022, I'm my new baby, Vestor, CEO of Vestor. Go to vestor.com and created Vestor. I noticed was a lot of people who was looking to raise capital for hotels that didn't know where to go. And or they're looking to invest in hotels that they didn't know where to go. So I created Vestor, but that's a separate episode. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned more about my story and how I was able to get from the front desk to hotel ownership. My story is a little different. It was this, and I get this a lot. Well, Yvonne, where's the workbook? Where's the checklist? Like, so that's what I'm doing. I've been trying to put all this together out of my brain and put it into something. So I do have a book. It's called How to Buy a Hotel, Roadmap to Hotel Ownership. You can find it on Amazon. The link is in the comments where you can purchase. That's a good start. Also in the workbook, also in the book, it have special guests. So Mike Ely's in there, Amina Gilliard James, Dr. Amina Gilliard James, and Andre Albritton, and talking about all these different things that help you get to your goal, right? So make sure you check out the book. Again, it's called How to Buy a Hotel. So that's a good start. So you're like, Devon, where do I get started, right? Which we're gonna talk about in another episode. But I want y'all to hear my story. Again, I was able to get through hotel ownership because I actually worked for hotel owners. They were my clients, right? As an analyst, understanding the fundamentals. And also I started off as a front desk agent, right? So I've just been surrounded by hotels and getting onto that ownership side, talking about feasibility studies, putting together pro formas, getting out in the field and really understanding market research. So all of those different complexities and really understanding how to analyze deals and understanding who are the key members of your team, which we will be talking about in future episodes. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be coming to you every week. See you next time.